So my next guest was one of the first to predict Donald Trump's political shakeup. In a column from 2014, pollster and columnist Matt Towery wrote this: "The elite media will scoff at a potential Donald Trump candidacy for president. They will consider it a publicity move and a bluff. The Washington insiders will write off Trump. They will be wrong. I have no earthly idea if Trump could actually win the GOP nomination or defeat the likes of Hillary Clinton, but neither big-name politicians nor a dismissive Washington, D.C. press corps should dissuade Trump from running." Wow. Matt Towery is author of Newsvesting. He's also a pollster and nationally syndicated columnist, and he joins me now for some real talk. That was 2014. You called it right.
Yeah, I got lucky.
But you must have, I mean, you had more than one example there. You felt it. Why?
Well, in part, I had the luck of also, we poll for, actually my son with Opinion Savvy polls for Fox affiliates, and I do the analysis of several of the Fox affiliates. I was looking at early polling even in 2014, and I could tell this was going to be a year in which those who ran from outside of Washington were going to do extraordinarily well, and Trump was already beginning to give that tone, and we knew that he had that star power, and we know that that means a lot now, so that's sort of how I sort of called that down.
Okay, so now when you look at the odds makers will tell you Hillary Clinton's going to run away with this election. But then those polls came out a couple of days ago in these major swing states. And I want to remind our viewers of what happened there. So you go to Florida, you go to Ohio, and you go to Pennsylvania, and you have a very close matchup between HRC and Trump. And in some cases, you have Trump beating her, like in Ohio, on your screen right now. Matt?
Yes, you do. And actually, quite frankly, I don't usually pay much attention to a head-to-head matchup this far out over the years of my polling and for various entities. But I will say this: when you see this sort of momentum taking place, it tells you that you have an incredible degree of intensity for Donald Trump. He is moving opinion very quickly. And as you see some of these issues around him settle, and Clinton still, some of her issues not settled, it means we're going to have a very, very tight race in the fall.
Okay, let's take a look at some of these pollsters, because that's what you do for a living, and there's been a lot of discussion about polls over the last decade, whether or not they're accurate. So let's take a look at who's been the most accurate. So it turns out it's Wall Street Journal, NBC News, Marist, 94% accuracy. Fox News, 93% accuracy. And then an online poll, SurveyMonkey, 92% accuracy. But then when you look at those that haven't been accurate, here's the bottom of the list. American Research Group, 81%, CNN, 80%, and Quinnipiac University, 65%. What do we glean from that analysis?
Well, can I add one thing? Also in that 90 percentile range was Opinion Savvy, which did the polling for these Fox affiliates. So I was watching these polls as they developed, and they were rated as one of the best as well. Polling is actually very accurate these days. I mean, people don't realize it's very difficult to try to get down to a 1%, 2% range in states as diverse as Pennsylvania or as large as Florida. So I'm not discouraged about polling at all. I think it's very accurate this year.
All right, so since you've been such a great prognosticator, who do you think Trump will pick as a VP and why?
Well, you know, I have to give a disclaimer. I was Newt Gingrich's chairman when I was active in politics of his political campaigns when he was Speaker. So, but I do think Gingrich is one of the leading candidates. He would never tell me so, I can assure you.
Right.
But I think for the reason being that you see Hillary Clinton talking about the years of Bill Clinton. She was trying to pivot that 2 weeks ago, and then, of course, Bernie Sanders wants more states, so she's having to go back to fighting Sanders again. But she wants to go back to the 1990s because the Clinton years had a great economy and a lot of achievements. Why Gingrich is being considered, I believe, is because Newt Gingrich is the one who forced Bill Clinton in many instances to create welfare reform, to balance the budget, to cut capital gains tax. So he's a perfect answer, and he gives the experience as well in Washington they're looking for. I think John Kasich, others meet that as well.
I think you may be onto something there. Matt, we'll see if you're right. Great to have you on The Real Story. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much.